Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I am not alone. We have a full house in the new year. So we're going to start. We're changing it up a little bit. So we're going to start. We have Emily May, hailing from the Valley. She's the United Wrestling Network on-air correspondent. So she's stepping up in the world and stuff like that. She's doing big things. So welcome, Emily.
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. And then we have the #1 Catwoman, also the #1 resourcer or person that puts out a lot of pictures all the time, and they're very sexual in a good way. Please welcome Sarah the Rebel.
So Emily got an upgrade and you gave me a downgrade. I'm a professional wrestler.
It's not a downgrade. It's not a downgrade. The pictures are amazing. There's one,
I know they're amazing, but that's not my introduction.
Wow. Well, we'll take it back. She's also a professional wrestler. Please welcome Sarah the Rebel.
I feel unwelcome.
We love you, Sarah.
Oh, it's love, Sarah. And we have another special guest co-host. She is a freelance writer for Uprocks, Fanside WWE, and Diva Dirt. Please welcome Emily P.
Hi. Nice to meet everybody in the Women's Wrestling Talk universe out there.
I know. You're probably saying, what the hell is going on? That was the weirdest intro ever. But we just are very unorthodox. And it's not about us. It's about our amazing guest. So I'm very, very excited, as you can tell, because she's a fellow Canadian. So that's the most important part, I think. She's also the former TNA Knockouts champion and former TNA Tag Team champion. She's a podcaster. She's a mother, as you can hear. And she's also a firefighter. Please welcome Taylor Wilde.
Hi!
Hey,
welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Let's just hop in it. So, I was listening to a couple of your interviews. We're gonna kind of do the official stuff first, and then kind of get back to nitty gritty. I was listening to a couple of your interviews, and some of them you were talking about coming out of retirement. So Taylor Wilde 2.0 resurrection. Yes. So now, what promotion are you going to be working with? Because you haven't said it thus yet.
No, and I can say I am signed, and it is to a major promotion, and I will be back on TV. And I'm supposed to start this month, but due to the political climate as it is, and a bunch of administrative boring stuff, I'm not able to start this month, but hopefully next month. And I'm still going to leave the promotion as a surprise, as just be better for everybody. It's a little bit of a surprise.
Okay. So I know you can't say the promotion, but does it start with the letter I?
I'm not going to say that it's not starting with the letter I.
Okay.
But it's also not starting with the letter A or W. Or I'm going to leave it in the wind. I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
I will say, though, that this promotion has a strong ass women's division, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. These are all women I haven't had the chance to work with since I've retired. These are all the new generation, and it's a really exciting place to be right now. So, yeah.
Interesting. You said some key words.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah, women's division. Okay.
You said some key words that were mentioned on this particular promotion that I think that I know that you're going to be signed to. So we'll I know you have to keep it under wraps, but I think I'm gonna put a prediction out there, and I think I'm gonna be right. So we can just leave it at that. So tell us about Firefighter. So you've been a wrestler for a very long time, then you retired from wrestling, and then you became a firefighter. What was that transition like?
Yeah, sure. So at the end of my professional wrestling career, I had done all I could do. The storylines were kind of washing out for me, and I just felt like I needed more. Wrestling was very different at that time, even at that high of a level. There was no security. Wrestlers were on salaries when I was with TNA anyways. And, if the writers didn't write you into the storyline, you didn't get booked, you didn't get paid. And I was sick of being a little bit of a nomad. Toronto was my home, but it didn't feel like home because I was on the road every 2 weeks. So I was looking for something that gave me the same level of fulfillment, that was just as exciting, but was something stable and consistent and felt normal, for lack of a better term. Running into a burning building when everyone's running out isn't everyone's cup of tea of normal, but for a professional wrestler. So I had looked into all the emergency services. I knew that I wanted to do something that I could give back to the community. I was lucky enough at the end of my TNA career that I was doing a lot of ambassador work for Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I felt that sort of charitable work was, I don't know, my heart melted. I felt this type of fulfillment that I had never felt before. So I knew I wanted to give back in some way. The cops do a job that I have the utmost respect for, but it takes a really specific type of personality to be a cop, and I simply don't have it. I laugh too much. I see the humor in everything, and that just doesn't adhere to what a cop wants to be. And then as far as paramedicine goes, I had a huge interest in it. It's just every day is not saving lives. It can be really monotonous, really backbreaking, and firefighting is just so diverse. We run medical calls, we run fires, we run car crashes, we run things I don't even want to talk about right now.
Have you ever saved a cat from a tree?
Oh, God.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is a terrible firefighter joke, but have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree? No, because they always get down. But I have legitimately, we don't really do it, but because people don't actually call 911 for the cat, but we have had cats that have been stuck in eaves troughs or stuck between two pitched roofs. We have gone up on an aerial truck, kind of non-emergency, and saved some cats, but never in a tree because they always come down.
Have you applied any of your wrestling experience and training to your firefighting?
Oh my God, 100%, but not in the way you think. So being a female wrestler, as you know, your chances are you're 20-1 with guys on the road. You're traveling circus, you essentially live together, you work together, you see each other way too intimately in change rooms, and you just become this family. With firefighting, 2% of women, 2% of the population of the firefighting community in North America are women. So the side of the job, I'm at a fire hall where there's 60 guys. I'm the only girl in the entire hall. That's 4 different shifts, 3 trucks. So I learned how to be one of the guys without losing who I am. I don't swear anymore. I don't pretend to be tougher. I am who I am, and I'm hoping that person, that part of my personality, will help ease other women into the fire department or career in fire. So, and then of course, just being a wrestler helped me transition into the fire hall for the guys, because my nickname for years was just the wrestler. It kind of desexualized me in a way, because you could just go on the internet and see what you need to see. There was no questions. You could just see me in a bikini. So that was always kind of a bonding experience. So truly, wrestling and firefighting were this beautiful bonding experience for all of us. And and that's the other thing. My crew's so excited that I'm going to be back to TV, and they're more upset that they can't get on a coach bus and come to wherever we are in the States. So yeah.
Another clue.
That will be really awesome when they can come. Even for an angle, pan the camera. Here's all the firefighters.
Oh yeah. And they are not well balanced individuals. There would be a lot of clothes missing, a lot of alcohol poisoning. I mean, like, it's a stressful job. We all have to release in different ways, but yeah, it would be a laugh. There would be a lot of belly paint, I feel like.
Oh my God. So, going back to like your extensive career as a wrestler, so I'm in the process of writing a book now, and in that process, it's kind of cathartic because I'm like reliving a lot of stuff that I did. Yeah. So, when you think of your career, is there like a certain match or a certain like friendship or bond that like that's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about your wrestling career?
Oh, for sure. I would say it's twofold. So the beginning of my career on the independents, myself and Tiana Ringer, we trained together, and it was essentially just the two of us. So we wrestled each other a bazillion times. So we had this sisterhood, this relationship that I could never have with anyone else because we basically got each other started. And then when I started working for WWE, actually, I guess it was through the indies, I had met Samoa Joe at ROH, and he is like my big brother. We fell in love in a totally platonic way. Like there is zero anything that is not platonic between us. And that man makes me, like, no one can make me laugh like that guy. Like, I love my husband, but it is just like a totally different relationship. So he's always been my person. Yeah, that's all I can say. Joe's awesome. He's a really, really good dude, and he's fucking killing it, man. He's killing it.
He is such a good dude. He once held my purse for me when I went to the bathroom. Like, what a great guy. He's Samoa Joe. Anyway, I just gotta
wait. You can't just skirt over that. Like, where was this? Like,
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, but like, were you like, how did that even happen?
It was a party. We were just chilling, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was drunk. So I was like, "Hey, can you hold my purse?" Not thinking about it, And then when I came back, he was guarding it so carefully that I was like, I like it clicked in my head. I was like, "Oh, hello, drunk Sarah. You just asked Samoa Joe to hold your purse." But when I came back, he like really took it seriously, and I was like, first of all, I'm sorry, but second of all, thank you.
Yeah. Joe is like the party catalyst. Like I'm a total extroverted introvert. Like if I have my choice, I just want to go home after the show or back to the hotel. I want to put on sweatpants, watch TV, wash off my makeup. Like I am not fun. But when I'm out, I'm out. So he's always like, he made sure that I enjoyed every state, every sport country we were ever in, but you always knew you were safe with him. Even if you ended up on a stripper pole in some underground strip club in Germany, but you were safe.
Okay, that's a story.
That's a very German thing.
They're so du hast, like so German. Like I can't even get into the details of the story because we'll be here for a year. Like there are so many involved. Like that's a whole episode in itself.
We'll have a special episode for that.
Yeah. There was a lot of well-known people on the roster that were on a stage, and the strippers were watching us. So that's a whole other story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you recently had Samoa Joe on your podcast, and you talked a lot about the impact that he had on your life. So what's some life lessons that he instilled onto you in your career?
Oh man. I think the biggest thing is, and it's simple, but it's just always, you have to be your own biggest advocate. No one is going to do shit for you. Like you are just a wheel, like you're just a cog in the wheel. And as a woman in the business, especially off the back of that Divas era, and being in my early 20s and having grown up in the business in my formative years, I was always so like, okay, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Like, I'll do whatever you want whatever you want me to do. And I never really stood up for myself. I never really stood up for my worth. And he always instilled that. And it seemed so natural for him. And it shouldn't have been masculine, feminine, male or female. It's just, you've got to fight for what is yours. And it took me a long time to hear him. But I get it now, and I see his big fat face every time. I'm like, I own this shit. I just see like Joe's blobby head like floating in my mind. I love you, Joe.
So there's a suggestion I totally forgot. So one of our last it's kind of like a Christmas surprise. We had Trish Stratus on the show, and I was going through some old clips, and Evan T. Mack, who's a former host, now signed to WWE, he was talking about the Canadian connection.
Yeah.
Like how just for some reason, like I throw out Canadian, and like, you know, for some reason, like people will come on the show, and I appreciate that. Now, here's a question / suggestion. I don't know, it might be possible now. With female Canadian wrestlers, is there like a group chat floating around, like you, Gail, Natalia? Like, is there one floating around? And if not, I suggest that, you know.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because we probably just make it more complicated because we all talk, but we just don't have one big group. So why are we not being inclusive? Why are we being assholes? You're right.
Assholes.
We should get a big group.
We should have one group. No, that's a great idea, especially in the current climate we're in.
And then TK would like to be added to the group once again.
Absolutely. You can be an admin girl.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to see what's going on.
I kind of want to be an honorary Canadian.
That's pulling a thread. That is pulling a thread. We can't let Americans in.
I know, right? That's a whole nother story. Now, here's the question. So now that the fact that we don't know what promotion you're going to, can you pick between we'll just say for now between WWE, AEW, and Impact, who you would like to have a match with from each promotion?
Okay, right off the hot, Io Shirai, like hands down. I am so infatuated with that woman. Like as talent, there has not been a competitor to date that can move the way she moves in terms of like she is good absent of gender, and homegirl isn't young per se. Like she's not 25, like she's 30, 31, and that changes the game, because even me, I'm 34, I don't feel 24 anymore. I still can move, but like it hurts more, and the recovery takes longer. But yeah, hands down, Io Shirai would be like my number one dream match. Definitely Deonna Purazzo. She brings this incredible energy that is different to anything you're seeing in female wrestling right now. Like her work is all about being methodical, and I feel like there's such a population of women's wrestling that has moved to almost like this X division cruiserweight style of wrestling, and she's kind of brought this other element, and technically she's sound, and I think we could have a stellar match. And Killer Kelly, so we're not talking about big promotions here. She was formerly NXT UK. Now she's a free agent. We did see her in Impact not that long ago in the tag team tournament. So her thing with me is I've never seen a female wrestler do what she does. Like she is like a little female Chris Benoit. Like she brings the energy, and I love her wrestling style, and it makes me really excited. So I would love to wrestle with her, whatever company she ends up in.
I have a question about your wrestling past. So your first big angle in TNA was with Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how was it to work with her? And was there anything that you learned working from her? Because she was pretty experienced at the time.
For sure. It was a really... it was a pretty high pressure situation to get into, because I had sort of been known on the indies at that time, but basically I was coming into a company that there had been a huge roster of females. 13 new Impacts were hired a few months before I came in. They had built up this amazing locker room, this amazing piece of TNA. And here comes Lil Taylor Wilde, who is going to jump out from the crowd, beat Awesome Kong, and become the new women's champion. Or TNA Knockouts champion. So, that was sink or swim. Like I had a serious amount of pressure on me. and Awesome Kong Kia, obviously an incredible talent. She made a huge name for herself in Japan. She was well known in North America on the indies. And she was so old school in her approach with me. That's like the most politically correct way I could say. She did not hold my hand. Like, she was like, you are going to earn this shit. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Because that's how I grew up. That's that's the kind of school of hard knocks, old school world I came into. So I was ready. I didn't care. I was ready. This is my shot. I just came out of WWE. I was tired of that shit. I was ready to do something new and have my moment. So working with her was incredible. Like we said, she's an amazing talent, and we got to tell the classic David and Goliath story, but the female version. And I feel like we killed it, and we ended up being really good friends, and we traveled on the road together all the time. We were like friggin' Ebony and Ivory. And yeah, we ended up being sisters. And, you know, she's like a tough businesswoman. She's a tough competitor. She's really serious about her position in the industry, but girl's got a big heart. Oh my God, she has a big heart. So I learned so much from her, both in life and in the ring. I wouldn't even know where to start, but she was a huge part of my career, and I'm so thankful that we had the storyline that we did, even though she kicked my ass consistently for 3 years on TV. I would say that was definitely the highlight of my professional career, was running a storyline against her. And she always looked after me too, in terms of, you know, like I said, I got my ass kicked for 3 years. That's hard to do, you know, 3 nights a week, but I never got hurt more than bumps and bruises and just general bumping shit. So
this is a definitely total Mark question. So you have you won 2 championships and you retire, and like, you know, I'm a former track athlete. I still have all my medals in a box. Do you get to have a version of your championship that you could just like hang on the wall, or how does it like
So here's the thing. With WWE, you're going to make money. If you win the belt, you are going to get your replica belt that you can hang on your wall. With TNA at the time, you weren't going to make a lot of money, but you were going to have the ability to have creative input, to be showcased on the show in a way that women were not being showcased in any other major promotion. But there was only one goddamn belt. And you had to travel with it. You had to protect that shit. You had to take that in your carry-on. You had to tell TSA that it was not a bomb. And goddamn it, I did not get the replica belt.
I have had to travel with my husband's belt, and it is a hassle. It's cool. People ask about it, but I hear ya.
In the beginning, it was hilarious because the guys would be like, "Oh my God, take a picture with it." But then it was like I'd be late for my flight, and it's like, "Okay, come on." So yeah.
And it's always an awkward size to pack. Like you always have to bring it with you, and yeah.
You can't pack it because what if your bag doesn't come, and then you can't like have a paper belt on TV.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, people don't understand all the weight, literally, sometimes that comes with a championship belt.
Just wear it on your waist and call it a day.
Yeah, okay, wait, really fabulous.
A metal detector, yeah.
You're not wrong. If I'm lucky enough to hold any type of title, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to wear it over my coat. Be like, this is it, coming through.
So as you're getting ready to return to the ring, there's a lot of mental and physical preparation that involves.
Yeah. So
how have you been getting ready for that process?
So we're back down to like a stage 1 lockdown in Toronto. So pre-stage 1 lockdown, I was training in the ring again at least once a week for 3 hours. I've got a really incredible wrestling family here at Super Kicked Wrestling School in Toronto. And hi, sweetie. You want to come say hi? No, you don't want to say hi? Okay. That's Sarah's bedhead. Okay, it's what you want. So cute. He's just going to be running in the background now. So I was back at the pro wrestling school at least once a week, watching new video, catching up on what I missed. That's not distracting at all. And in terms of like the aesthetic and functional fitness aspect, because of my job, I haven't stopped working out 4 or 5 days a week since I was 16 years old. I started playing hockey when I was 6, and it's just who I am. Cleaned up my diet a little bit. But like I started doing 2-a-days again, which I haven't done in a really long time in terms of waking up, doing cardio on an empty stomach, living my life, and then, hitting the weights later on in the evening. That I'm actually not even doing to look an aesthetic pleasing way. I'm just doing it because mentally it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm working towards something. You know what I mean? Like, So I'm ticking all the boxes of all the physical stuff, but what I'm doing this time, which I didn't do the first time around, is I got myself not a manager, but a sister sort of thing. Like, that was something else Joe had always said. You can't do this on your own. Like, you can only take yourself so far, and you're not, like, I'm an athlete. I'm not an actress. I'm not a model. I learned a lot of that stuff as I went. So I've got a girlfriend, a very dear friend, who's my producer and editor of my podcast. She's also my fire chief's wife. She was going to be my doula, but I had to have a C-section, so she wasn't my doula. And she has her master's in acting from the University of Florida. She's worked in theater. She's worked in movies. So I've been working on my character, something I hated doing. I hated talking to the camera because I didn't know what to do. It was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I literally didn't know what to do. So that is like the biggest part about Taylor Wilde, The Resurrection, is I know who the fuck I am now, and you're going to see it this time. Like, I can still wrestle, but I've got more to give.
So why? Like, you have your child, you're married, you're living life, you're in Toronto. Toronto's a pretty good lifestyle, by the way, just for you guys who don't know. But why, like, what made what happened that you're like, you know what, I'm going back to wrestling?
Yeah. So I've been really fortunate in the sense that since I've retired, every few years, I'd say I get a phone call from a major company. And no, it was like a resounding no. But like you said, everything's going really well. I have a healthy, beautiful child. I have a stepson. I have a husband. I have a secure job. It's going too well. I gotta fuck it up. I gotta stir it up. It's too normal. Actually, I'm joking, but not joking. All of a sudden, I started feeling my biological clock ticking, and it wasn't to have another baby. It was like, okay, you're 34. You've been retired for 10 years. I didn't ever stop loving wrestling. I was burnt out on so many different levels. And, because I'm so content and I feel like I'm in a good place, I feel like I can give back to wrestling because I'd be coming back in a place of privilege. I'm coming back as a vet. I'm not coming in as somebody new who's got to work her way up. And I wanted to make sure that if I was coming back into a major promotion, I was going to be in a place where I could give back because I want to be a positive influence and I want to contribute. I don't want to just be some old burnt out hag that's like me, like I don't want to bump. Like I want to go. I want to fit in with what's happening, but I also want to give. So that's why now. Hey, buddy.
So what did your husband, or like, not to say, not even putting out there like he gives you permission or anything, but like, when it happened and then you decided, like, what the people around you that hadn't experienced you as a wrestler thought of that decision?
Can I answer this question? No. Okay. Well, I'm going to do it So my husband is not a wrestling fan. It just wasn't something, it wasn't a part of his childhood. Obviously he knows I was a wrestler, and you know what, he's a really good, solid human being, and he just wants me to be happy. So he supported it. He just thought, okay, well, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Just don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. And I'm like, well, I'll do my best, but you want to go down? Yeah, no, he's been like super solid. Just, you know, the same way my parents and my friends feel. There's obviously this high chance of getting hurt. And a few years ago, I had a really bad concussion. I started training again, just kind of for ha-ha, and that was probably the problem. And I was a lot stronger than I used to be, so I jumped from the ring to the top turnbuckle, like in one motion, which I could never do before. And I actually overshot the top turnbuckle, and I headbutted the steel beam. And I cut myself here and here, and I lost consciousness, somehow still dismounted, woke up when I landed on my feet, but shit you not, for 2 weeks, I could not remember the word or spell the word the. It was just gone. It was just white. I've never had post-concussion syndrome. I never had the headache, the nausea, and I was like, I am 30. What am I doing? Like, I made it thus. I had a whole career, and I was fine. And, like, now I can't say the. Like, that is an important word, and you can't remember it. Yeah, I don't even remember what the question was. So, long-term effect of concussion.
So you
sorry. That's my point.
Oh man. Yeah, so you talked about returning to the ring, but as a veteran, and you want to give back to that community. And so what is some advice that you would give to some up and coming wrestlers that are just getting started in the business or at a certain stage in their career?
What was always told to me is you've got to figure out who you are. And it's so hard because talent are getting younger and younger and younger. And at 17, 18, 21, 25, you don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. It took me until I was 30 to really figure it out. But just if you don't know who you are, just try to react on your gut and do things that are true to you. If they don't feel right, it's probably because it's not right. Taylor, don't touch the keyboard. I know you want to push all the buttons, but we can't right now. I know. Do you want to play with my phone? Okay. Don't do anything for free. I know that a lot of things, when you first start out, you get very little money, but you are professional. Professionals get paid for what they do, even if it's $20. Know your worth. Mm-hmm. Get $20. Don't, because it's like a knock-on effect or a snowball effect. As soon as you start working for free, just keep going for free. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. Sorry, that's my other thing. Like, I taught one class of women after I retired. Okay. Sorry, guys. And Aliyah came from that class. NXT is Aliyah. And one thing I drove home was like have a plan B. Like, you don't have to make that your primary focus, but like have some sort of lateral goal setting. Like, you know, if you don't have an education, think about what you might want to do. Like, just, and you're more of a commodity when you don't come across as wrestling is your be all end all and your means to an end. Just that's one thing I learned the hard way was I thought I got to put it all in, but really you'll be more confident if you have something else going on too, and then give you a different type of self-worth.
Well, talking about Aliyah, so I don't know if you could speak to this because maybe that's the whole Canadian connection thing. She's been on WWE NXT for quite some time, and I feel like the angle that she's doing, they're not necessarily utilizing her. What do you think she should do? Or, I mean, have you spoken to her since? Or what's going on?
The two of Wilde on, so yeah, no, I did. I just spoke with her. So here's the thing with WWE, like, at least in my experience, when you're a developmental talent, if you kind of reach the year and a half mark and they haven't found anything for you, it's pretty much your expiry date. So here she is on 5 years and, she's still plugging away. They're using her. But like you said, I don't think they're utilizing her to her full potential. She's an amazing wrestler, and she doesn't get to wrestle that much. So, like I said, the biggest thing is knowing who you are, and with WWE, you don't always get to do who you are. You do who they tell you. They tell you who you are, and then you got to run with that sort of thing. And I think because of that, talent doesn't always get to shine. I want her to succeed. I think WWE has always been her goal, so I support her in that. She also has an education. She also has this background in equestrian. I don't know what the full name for it. She's an equestrian. So she has all the other things going on. I would love to see her in another company where she would have more creative control, because she actually is like a huge laugh. Like, you can see it in her character that there's a lot of personality there, but she's being told to play a role, and she's doing her best. But I would love to see the more athletic side of Aliyah, because she's a great character, and that contributes to a long career. Character is everything, but there's so much more to her.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens, because every time I see her, it's just kind of like, you don't see her that often, and then when you do, I'm like, what are they doing? I'm not understanding what's going on.
I know. She could be in all those tournaments, and the Shotzi Blackheart, the Io Shirai, the Toni Storm. Like, Aliyah can go. She can go. I trained her. Of course she can go. So I'd love to see her wrestle more. I don't know why they're not pulling the trigger. I don't get it.
Well, we'll see. Now, we did mention your podcast. So you finished season 1. You're doing season 2, and you did mention in another interview that you're going to be doing like a different angle to it. So, does it encompass like your training and getting ready for that particular promotion that may or may not start with an I? Has it included that type of stuff?
Yeah, there will be an episode dedicated purely to like road warrior stories, sort of thing, like the painful road of getting back in the ring and being in my 30s and having a full-time job, and interviewing the guys that gotta hear it the most, and that's my brothers at the fire hall. So yeah, for sure there will be an episode dedicated to that. And I do talk to Aliyah in season 2, which is cool, because that is her first interview in 6 years. That's the first interview they let her do, which is
wow.
It's crazy.
Like, the Performance Center offers so many incredible coaching sessions that just did not exist when I was in developmental. Like, there was one coach, and he did the wrestling, and he did like promo stuff, kind of, sort of. There was no gym, there was no acting coaches, there was no like media training. So she's been getting all this incredible media training for 6 years. But guess what? You gotta get those reps in. So like, there's that, and I get to kick things off with Trish. I'm riding you got your coattails, so I'm excited. Oh, nice. For her, because she was truly my inspiration getting me to this business. Like, there's like that hometown element, like Toronto girls doing it, and she really brought this athletic, badass superhero presence to the then Divas era. And I had a picture of like an 8x10 of her in my binder when I was in high school, and yeah, it's such a trip having her on the podcast and interviewing her. And yeah, she's a superhuman being. She's talk about badass business bitches, like yeah, that's too.
And so nice.
Yeah.
She's the sweetest.
She's like really good looking. She's had 2 kids, and she's abs, and she's like nice, and like, I just hate her. She's so fucking words.
All right, so we're gonna get it.
Yeah, that's gonna be like my that'll be my like media promotion for this, right? Like, talking shit about Trish. Like, sorry, Trish.
Right now.
Hate and love. So we're going to get into rapid hot tag. So what that is I'm going to ask you a question. And you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh dear.
Women's wrestling talk. Rapid hot tags.
The hot tags is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. It's the world's first apple cider vinegar gummy. And if you use the code TK Trinidad 5, you get a nice discount. So make sure you go and use that TK Trinidad 5 Goalie Nutrition. So are you ready?
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
So what is your favorite quarantine snack?
Popcorn.
Do you prefer working out at home or in the gym?
Home.
Home. Smarties or M&Ms?
M&Ms.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tim Hortons or Starbucks?
Tim Hortons.
Fries or poutine?
Neither.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. The poutine is weird. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained one quality or ability, what would it be?
Oh, no, Mom, sing.
Psychic powers.
Oh,
And your house containing everything you own catches on fire. After saving your loved ones, your pet, and you have time to make one final dash to save one other item, what would it be?
My Doc Martens.
You said your Doc Martens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last forever. That's it. Come on.
Oh man!
I did not see that coming at all.
I did not see it coming.
I just say last forever. That's my favorite part.
I broke it already.
If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Mind. I'm full on with aging gracefully. But when this goes, smell you later. I'm out.
Oh goodness!
All right, I'm collecting all my teammates.
I know. You know what you could do is you could partner everybody. Like the ones who want to keep their mind, you pair them with the ones with the body. And
yeah, I mean.
So is Emily gonna take care of me and you, TK, while we're all like,
yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like, my co-host went off the rocker. Like,
I don't know. I have a reason. We need to ask Brandon this, or when Brandon comes on the show on the news segment, you should ask him that because I have a feeling he's gonna pick body too. So she'll be like taking care of all three of us. But you know,
Body?
oh, me and Sarah are body all
you're
that.
in TK or body, and I'm mind.
Okay, I'm with you, girl.
Yeah.
Like would I tell myself now, like even getting back into like 2 days and workouts, I'm like, man, like I have to make sure that, you know, if I end up, because I also got my will done and my life insurance and all this other stuff. And I'm like, if anything happens to me, all I really want is to make sure I look good in the casket. Like, I take a picture. So that's my motivation for like my cardio in the morning. So say la vie. So
No casket. Oh no. I want to be
can't
burned.
relate to this.
So we're gonna hit star of the week really quick.
Women's wrestling talk. Star of the week with Sarah the Rebel.
Star of the week is brought to you by Label My Keys. Use code WWTALK. That's capital W, capital W, capital T. WW Talk for 50% off all orders. Today's star of the week is NXT's Indy Hartwell. This Australian-born wrestler debuted in 2016 and garnered championships at several Down Under promotions, including Battle Championship Wrestling, Newcastle Pro Wrestling, Riot City Wrestling. In the U.S., she's wrestled for Shimmer, Rise, Zello Pro, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and many more. Hartwell is already making waves, joining Johnny Gargano's stable The Way, and making her Raw debut against Shayna Baszler. We can't wait to see what this impressive wrestler has in store. Follow her at Indy Hartwell and tell her Women's Wrestling Talk sent you. And if you want to learn more about a star of the indie wrestling scene, please shoot us your suggestions for future stars of the week. And don't forget to check out Label My Keys. If you're a hiker, a real estate agent, or just someone who wants extra peace of mind, Label My Keys is a perfect way to prevent lost keys or to help you stay organized. Visit labelmykeys.com and enter the code WWTalk for 50% off your order.
Thank you, Sarah. I told you we're doing big things in 2021. We're getting there.
What about Sarah?
Like, I need some keys. So here's, okay. Now I'm going to just present to you, like, as a Canadian bond, because I know you have your podcast, so you'll be announcing, like, who you're going to be signing with or who you've already signed with on your podcast. I'm just asking, again, as a fellow Canadian, that we be the second, you know, like, as soon as you drop, you let us know that, like, hey, I've dropped. And then we can...
I'm with you. That's cool. Okay. I will do it. I will send the email. I will let you know.
Yes. That's all I ask. You know,
just a little Canadian courtesy there, you know.
Yeah, Canadian bond, and you know, and then whenever you start that the Canadian group chat, like, I mean, and I could have, you know what I'll do, because I know you're busy, like, you're very busy. I'll create the list for you, and then we can, you know, I'll literally do the admin stuff. I'll create the list. I'll send out the invites.
Perfect.
And like, there it is.
It will happen. We can make this work. Together,
I'm just saying.
If you build it. If we build
Exactly.
It,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying this. Now, for everybody who doesn't know, tell everybody where they can find you, and then also tell everybody a little bit about your podcast.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Real Taylor Wilde. That's Wilde with an E, like Oscar Wilde. And you can find Wilde on every major podcast platform. We drop a new episode every Wednesday. We completed 28 episodes in season 1. I'm currently on a little bit of a mental break as I am building towards my television debut. I will be starting season 2 on January 20th, and the first episode back is with my Toronto homegirl, Trish Stratus. So that is Wilde on, and that is Wilde with an E, and you can find me on social media at Real Taylor Wilde. Wilde with an E.
Thank you.
Wilde with an E. Like Sarah with H, Sarah with no H. Fucking waste of life.
I asked the other day, I was like, wait, who's this other Sarah in a chat I was in? And the guy's like, no, she's Sarah with an E, it's fine. And I'm like,
it's fine, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah, you feel it. You feel my pain.
And I'm Emily May with an E, not a Y.
Oh, God, it's such a waste of life. You just want to walk around with like a sign with an E, with an H, no H, no E.
Oh my goodness. All right, before we get out of here, let's find out where we can find everybody. So Emily P, where can everybody find you?
I am on Twitter at Emily of Pratt. Pratt spelled like the same as Chris Pratt. And most of my writing right now is on fanbyte.com, FANBYTE, in the wrestling section.
Thank you for hopping on. We really appreciate it. And Emily May, no problem. And Emily May, with an E.
You can, I'm going for that, TK. You can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May with a Y, Heller.
Is it really? For real? Oh yeah. Okay.
What?
How long have you guys been working together? How friendly are you guys?
Wait, what? I'm
for
so
everyone,
confused.
wait, real quick. For everyone who's just listening to this episode instead of watching it, the face Emily just made for TK is you need to make sure you watch the YouTube version of this that you're listening to so you can see the face of betrayal.
I don't look at them. We're following. So, like, for instance, if I'm following you and then you change something or something, like, I'm already following, I don't pay attention to all that stuff. All right, my bad.
It has always been an E.
That's what I thought, right? I said, yes. But you said without a Y or with a Y?
Without a Y.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
I know. No. This is going to, like, this is, Josh, you're going to have to edit all this out.
Okay. Emily May Heller on Twitter and Instagram. There you go.
With an E. And Sarah the Rebel. Where can everybody find you?
I'm Sarah the Rebel everywhere. Sarah's an H is God and the Bible intended it to have. And you can also find those sexy pictures TK mentioned on my Patreon.
Oh my God. Yeah, those pictures. There's some pictures that I see, and then I had to screenshot them as if Sarah didn't know that she put the pictures up. And I'm like, hey,
send them to me.
I'm like, this is pretty high. And she always like looking at it like, yeah, I put it up. I probably knew this months ago.
Thought it was hot.
I just want to let you know that I saw the picture to let you know that the picture was hot.
Well, now that I know why you do that, thank you.
We're going off the rails today. I'm sorry, guys. So, first off, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Taylor, for coming on. Thank you so much, baby Taylor, for coming on as well. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. We have so many great things. So we have sponsors definitely to check out, like we said. So we have Clipper Ranks, which is a great sponsor. Find My Keys, another great sponsor, and Goalie Nutrition, which is there as well. If you go on our website at www.talkpod.com, all that information is there. My name is TK Trinidad. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. I just like the country, I guess, just regular spelling. Other than that, thank you guys so much for joining us. Without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 women's wrestling podcast on the planet. Till next time, guys. Ciao.